Hi, if you are on this video, you are probably interested about how curves work. Here I'm going to demonstrate inside of Photoshop, but the curve tool is accessible in pretty much all editing software. So even if you use another software, you'll be able to learn something here. I'm going to edit one photo with only the curve tool and show you how it works in details. So I'm inside of Photoshop and I'm going to use this photo to explain you how the curves tool work. So first of all, I just want to show you what kind of result you can get by using only curves and masks. So you can see this is a little edit I did before recording this video, and there is only curves and a mask. So you can see I'm not lying, there is really only curves. And this is before, this is after, and that's really a quick edit, and there is nothing else than color grading here. Curve is also a great tool to work on light. So you can see here, for example, I'm adding contrast with just one curve, or removing contrast also with just a curve. So I'm going to show you in details how all of that work and how you can do it on your photos. Even if you don't use Photoshop, you have the same curve tool inside of Lightroom. You have it on the mobile app as well, and almost every editing software, even video editing software, has the curve tool. So once you've watched this video, you can work in any software you want to color grade and to work on light for your photos or videos. First of all, I'm gonna go to adjustment. If you don't see this panel here, you go to window and you click on adjustment. Then you choose the curves. So this is this little icon here. I click on it and I'm gonna have this panel here, okay? So first of all, you can see there is a line and there is two dots, but you can actually add more dots. So what you can do is just click on the line to add more dots. If you added some dots but you don't want them anymore, you want to reset the whole thing, you're just gonna click on this little arrow that does like a circle, reset to adjustment default, and it's back to the default settings. Here, the left side of our curve, this is the shadows, okay? And on the right side, this is the highlight. That's something you need to know. That's the most important thing about curve. And so if you want to target only the shadows, you're gonna work on the left side of the curve. If you want to target the highlight, you're gonna work on the right side of the curve. So let me demonstrate. Let's say we want to make the shadows brighter. So I take my first dot here and I'm just going to lift it. It's going to make my shadows brighter. If I want to make them darker, then I'm gonna work on the abscissa axis and I'm going to the right to make it darker, okay? This is the same with the highlights. If I want my highlight to be brighter, I'm going on the left. If I want my highlight to be less bright, I'm going down, okay? So this is how it works. And then to go in details, you can just add some more dots, and here if you are in the middle, you work in the midtones. So usually when you work on the midtones, it's going to affect most of your image if your image is well balanced. So look, if I go up, my image becomes brighter. If I go down, my image becomes darker. Usually there is two curves that photo editor know. This is the S curve, and the S curve is that. So you're gonna add a dot at each intersection. So you can see there is kind of a grid, and each intersection of lines you add a dot. So you just have to click on the line, okay? And then I'm gonna grab the first one, which is actually the second one, and I'm going to go down a little. And then for this one here, I'm going to go up a little, and it's create a S curve. And you can see it's actually add contrast to my image. You can also do the opposite. So I'm just going to reset the adjustment, and this time, so I add my dots at each intersection, and I'm going to go up in the shadows and down for the highlights. And here, this is an inverted less curve, and here I'm reducing the overall contrast. Look, before and after, before and after, so it's reduced the contrast. So you have the S curve, the inverted S curve. These things is good to know, but I don't especially recommend you to use the S curve all the time. If that looks good for your photo, use it like that, but otherwise just you know that, but you don't really have to use it. I say that because I see with a lot of my students, they think they need to add S curves to all of their photo. Sometimes it just doesn't look great. I actually think that on this photo, S curve, it doesn't look too great because the image already has a lot of contrast, very bright background, but very dark in the foreground. So, you know, just adding a S curve doesn't help the image here. It doesn't make any sense. So it's not because you have heard somewhere a S curve is great in photo editing that you need to use it that way. So here on the RGB channel, so we are really working on contrast and light, but that's not all we can do with the curve tool, and this is why this is also a very powerful tool to color grade your image. So you can see here it's written RGB, but you also have a red, green and blue channel. So let me show you with the red channel. You can see here we have the same line. There is some red here, and for some reason we also have another color, and this color is cyan. Let me tell you why it's cyan. I'm not going to go in great details. If you want to learn more about how colors work and color theory for photographers, check out my color grading course for photographers. The link is in the description. So cyan is the opposite color of red. This is why here, if I go up with my curve, it's going to add red to my image. But if I go down, it's going to add the opposite color, which is cyan for red. If I go on the green channel, if I go up, it adds green to my image. But if I go down, it adds magenta to my image because magenta is the opposite color of green. And now let's see with the blue. If I add blue, so if I go up with my line, with my curve, it adds blue, and if I go down, it's going to add yellow. So imagine all the possibilities that you have when you know that, when you know how colors interact with each other, and when on top of that, you use mask. It means you will be able to target specific area and to color grade one area of your image with one color, and maybe another part of the image will be color graded with another type of color. So let me show you in practice a little bit of what we can do. So first of all, I'm gonna go back to RGB, and I find my foreground very dark, so I'm just going to lift the shadows a little bit. But then I don't want my background that is already pretty bright to be that bright. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go to the right of my curve, because this is the highlight, and I'm going to bring the curve and bring it down a little. Okay, something like this. And really trust your eyes. Don't really look at the curve, what it looks like. We don't really care. What we care about, this is our image. So here I feel like my dark points are a little bit too lifted. So I'm going to take this point here, this dot, and bring it to the right, to make them deeper. And then, yeah, something like this, and maybe I can add one more dot. Okay. So this is before, this is after. I will reduce the opacity a little bit. I feel like this effect is a little too much before and after. Then I'm going to add another curve, and this time I'm going to work on colors. Here I'm going to do something very simple. We're gonna do a complementary color scheme. If you don't understand how colors work, if you don't know what is a color harmony, what color harmony to choose for your photo to convey a specific emotion, then you should check out the color code. This is my color grading course for photographers. The link is in the description. So adding some blues in the shadows and some yellow, orange in the highlights. So I'm gonna take my curve, my blue curve, and very slightly I go up with the curve so it adds blue overall. And then here on the right side, so for the highlight, I'm just going to go down and it's going to add some yellow to the highlight. And you see before and after is very subtle here on purpose, but it adds an overall filter in the image. If I wanted to target one area, so let me add another curve. And this time, let's say we want to make the red of the boats a little stronger. So I'm gonna go to my red channel and I'm going to go up with the red. And then I'm gonna go on the mask, Command I, the mask is going to become black. It means everything that is black on a mask means that it's invisible, the effect is invisible on my image. To make it visible, I need to brush with a white color, and everything that is white on a mask will appear on my photo. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, take a brush, B on my keyboard, or you just click here on the brush tool. And I'm going to brush here those boats that are red. I'm not sure how it's called, like a boat cover or something. So here I'm using a tablet, that's why it's very simple for me to make a mask that is precise. But if you don't use a tablet, maybe create a selection first to make sure you are not brushing things you don't want to brush. Making detail mask is very important. Okay, and here as well. Okay, so here I haven't done a very good job at the masking. Let me fix that. Okay, so you can see this is before and this is after, before and after, and just like that, just with a curve, I've been able to target one area of my image. So imagine if you do that for the whole image, and this is what I did here. And you can see this is before and this is after, and I've really targeted specific area of my image to color grade the image overall. And here, this is what we did together before and after with just 3 different masks. So yeah, this is how the curve tool works. If you are interested to learn how another adjustment layer works, let me know in the comments and I'll make a video about it. Thank you for watching this video. If you learned something, please push the like button and add a little comment. No matter what it is, it always helps me to keep posting free videos here on YouTube. If you want to go one step further and really understand color grading in depth, please check out the color code, my color grading course for photographers. The link is in the description of this video, and I see you in the next one.